Hello everyone, Malphite here, and today I'm gonna go one by one through the LEC teams and I will talk about who won and who lost the off-season. So let's not beat around the bush and let's start with the 10th team, which obviously is Rogue. Now, this is not a team power rankings, that I'll do in a different video. However, here I just want to talk about how the off-season went for these teams. And so obviously Rogue is number 10 since they're the only team who has only Larsen confirmed and no other players yet. There are some rumors that we're going to see Finn returning to top lane and a Korean bot lane being imported. No news about the jungler yet, but those are all just some rumors and some expectations. But let's talk about Rogue. So far, obvious 10th place because we have only one player confirmed. We do not know what's going to happen with this team. However, a bit of a controversial opinion, I do not think Rogue will be the worst team in the LEC. But since we got this out of the way, let's continue and let's talk about the 9th team, and that is SK Gaming. So this might come as a surprise to many of you, but basically what I'm looking at is, did the roster originally get weaker? When we're looking at the difference between the original roster and the new roster, did it get weaker, did it get stronger, is it pretty much the same, and what actually happened? So I think getting Loopy instead of Luon in the support position is actually a side grade or a potential upgrade. But GiantX and Reeker, although both are coming from a very strong team in the BDS Academy, I just don't see them being upgrades over Irrelevant and Niski, who I consider being very strong players. And that is the reason why I have SK Gaming in the 9th, because they have downgrades on both top lane and mid lane and a questionable change on a support position. And when you're changing 3 players, it's just really tough to retain the form that you had. And that's why it might come as a surprise, but I have SK Gaming at number 9. Next up, we have Team Vitality. So this may be, I don't know, to some this might be a surprise, to some maybe they would expect this even earlier, before SK Gaming on the number 9. So Team Vitality obviously retained their bot lane and jungle, so Linsas, Karzi and Hylissang are staying, and I think these are very strong players. We have an obvious downgrade in the mid lane, getting Chaeg instead of VTO, and in top lane, Photon was a very strong top laner, but I actually think getting Nako is going to be fine for the team. He was really dominant in the LFL, and so if the team can like kind of maybe have less of a language barrier or just have better vibes or something, I don't know what's going to happen, but I don't see the Photon exchange for Nako that badly. However, the Chaeg instead of VTO is definitely going to hurt the team's ability to perform on a power level, but maybe it's going to fix the team issues in like communication and just vibes general in the team. And so that's why I put them on 8th, because I don't think the changes are so damaging as they are potentially, let's say, for a team like SK. Next up, we have 7th team, and many of you, if you know about the roster changes, probably can guess already who it's going to be. And maybe you already thought that, well, why didn't I put them lower? But it's Team Heretics. And of course, argument could be made that they could even be 9th or 8th. So Team Heretics got basically a whole team full of rookies. So we are getting Carlsen instead of Wunder, Shio instead of Jankos, Camille instead of Zweiru, Flacket is staying, and then Stan instead of Trimby. And on paper, these are all downgrades. So you might be thinking, how is this 7th place? Like, these are all downgrades. Why would you put them on 7th place? But given the potential of this team with such crazy players like Wunder, Jankos, Flacket, Trimby, this team just did not deliver. They just weren't very good. They were kind of bottom of the pack, middle of the pack at times, but this team just had so much more potential and they ended up heavily underperforming. And so for me, any change is kind of a good change for this team. Given obviously the budget cuts and the changes, I did not expect them building like a super team again, and so they just went very budget and just got rookies. They got Carlsen promoted from their academy team, they got Shio from the BDS, they got Kamilu, which is a very, very hyped French rookie from the LFL second division, and then Flacket is staying, and then we're getting Stent instead of Trimby. And so I think all of these players are very cool rookies, very cool potential talents, and so Carlsen, Camilo, and Stent all could be the next big stars in the league. And I think it's really cool that Team Heretics just decided to do this and maybe try to get some talents within the team, you know, and just build them up instead of just getting them from a different team, since the budget is not quite there. And so because the super team that Team Heretics had last season did not quite work out, I think that this new roster, although if I was doing a tier list, I would just put them last because I think it's not really going to work. There is a lot of potential, and just because of that potential, I think they deserve a 7th place when it comes to the off-season changes for the team. Next up, G2 Esports. And this might seem like a huge surprise, but don't go into the comments yet, don't go writing that I'm crazy yet. This is not a power ranking, this is not me saying that G2 is the 6th best or worst team in the LEC. I still think they're the best team and they're going to do the best out of the whole region, most likely. What I'm saying is that the off-season did not go quite as well as maybe some fans or other people would speculate, right? Because let's see, they changed Yike and they changed Mickey, and I think Mickey is the best support in the West, and so changing this player is pretty crazy. So that's I don't know how big of a downgrade, but definitely a downgrade of some sort. I mean, I'm really excited for what we're going to see from Labrov in that support position. I'm not saying it's a really bad change, but it's still a slight downgrade. And when it comes to changing Yike for Skumond, I mean, Skumond is insanely talented, probably the most hyped rookie, most sought after and wanted player, and he's entering G2 already from the ERLs, and that must feel so amazing. But think about it like this, when Yike was entering G2 2 years ago, he was also in the Skumond shoes, right? He was the next big player, he was that next big jungle talent, and he just entered the team similar as Skumond did. And so that is probably going to be also immediately a downgrade, because Yike already has practiced with the team for 2 years and Skumond has a lot to learn, and potentially it can be an upgrade in the near future. But immediately looking at the changes in the offseason for G2, I just have to say that the team is going to downgrade slightly with like an upgrade potential in the future. But just, you know, looking at it purely from the offseason like point of view, I just decided to give them 6th place because it does not really excite me. Their offseason is kind of cool, but nothing that I would be like, oh my god, this is such a good move. So next up, we have Fnatic, another huge name in the LEC, following right after G2. And so why is Fnatic at 5th place? I think 5th place is actually the perfect place for the Fnatic offseason, given how split people are. So the half of the fans think that Noah and June were the best part of the Fnatic, and now Fnatic is getting rid of them, and so they're downgrading, right? And on the other hand, the other half is saying that, wow, they got upset in Mickey, this is gonna bring so much experience, this is gonna bring so much skill into the team, it's going to change the language barrier, it's maybe going to make the vibes better overall and everything. And you know, Fnatic was the 2nd best team in EU, as much as it hurts to say this given their poor performance overall and internationals and so on, but yes, they were the 2nd best team in EU. And so I think my personal opinion is that this team is actually upgrading with these changes. And so given that they were the 2nd best team, I think they're going to be very strong. And so they got exactly what they needed, but it's still pretty tricky. It's still pretty strange seeing these changes, especially given how Noah and June really were a great bot lane in Fnatic. Seeing them leave the team just feels a bit weird. And so that's why I put Fnatic at the 5th place. So next up, we're going into the top 4 territory, and so really excited. Drum roll, please. Number 4 is Team BDS. And so Team BDS, I think, was the first team that announced their roster, or that their roster changes were leaked first. That would be a better way to say this. And when I saw the team, I was like, wow, this is absolutely crazy. Especially because I think their jungle was not yet confirmed, because Skewmon was deciding where he's going to go. It was not yet confirmed that he will go to the G2. And so they had Irrelevant instead of Adam and Parus instead of Labrov. And obviously Parus is not an upgrade over Labrov, but maybe a side grade, because he's really, really hyped support. Probably the best support rookie coming into the league in a while. And then we have, well, I mean, there's Alvaro. So again, don't criticize me. He was also really, really good. But then we have Irrelevant in a top lane, and I think Irrelevant was maybe the most sought after player in the offseason. Every team wanted him, wanted to build something around him, because he really is that up and coming talent in the LEC. And we have him replacing Adam in this roster. So we have Irrelevant, and then 113 Nuke, Ice, and Parus. But bringing 113 into the team, I know they wanted Skewmon, but since Skewmon went into the G2, getting 113 just does not click with me, or there's just something weird about this. So I love the rest of the roster, but because of getting 113 is just such a coin flip, because, you know, on a good day he can carry, he can absolutely lead the team and just be a carry jungler, but on a bad day he can lose you the games. And just being such a coin flip, especially in such an important role as jungle, I cannot really put them higher than 4th, although they got Irrelevant in the top lane. And I think they retained their best players in Nuke and Ice. And obviously, if Labrov got the option to go to G2, you cannot do anything about it. And I mean, originally G2 wanted Paris, but still, you know, you still got a really good support. So yeah, for Team BDS, definitely an upgrade in the offseason. I'm just not sure about the jungle. So now top 3. We're left with the top 3 players, and so let's go and look at it. Maybe you'll be surprised, but Karmine Corp, KC. And so some people are saying that KC had the best offseason ever, and it's definitely hype. It's definitely very, very hype. But let's actually analyze it. And while I agree that it's a really, really good offseason, let's actually analyze it and let's see what actually is happening. So Kana, Vladi, and Targamas are staying. So only 2 players are changing on this team. And yeah, if you look at the nameplates, if you look at the new team, it's Yike and Kalist. And oh my god, how hype is that? You get Yike, a player that was really, really good on G2, coming to your team to make it stronger. And you have Kalist, your biggest star, finally being able to enter LEC and be on your team. So why 3rd place? Why not just be the best team? And that's obviously because I think Closer and Upset are both really, really good as well. And so I think that Yike over Closer is actually not that much of a crazy upgrade, and Kalist over Upset is actually not that much of a crazy upgrade. I think both of them are upgrades for sure, but I don't think that they are like ultra hyper turbo insane upgrades for everyone to go so crazy. And so for me, this team will definitely do well, but you know, I still have my my question marks about the offseason and the roster changes. And so that is the reason that why KC is in number 3, but you know, they still made top 3, and it's very, very competitive. And so number 2, it might really, really surprise you, but it actually is Koi, or formerly Mad Lions. And so you might look at this team and you're like, what do you mean number 2? How can they have number 2 best offseason when nothing changed on this team? Almost. Only 1 player got changed. Well, let me tell you how I think about this. Their mission in the offseason was to get a good mid laner, preferably a mechanical beast, because that's exactly what Frescoe was not good at, and he was kind of lacking. Also, his champion pool was not exactly the best. He was not a bad player, but you know, just get a star in the mid lane, and that was their only mission in this offseason, and they definitely completely wrecked it out of the park. You know, they completed the mission with like all stars. They got Jojo Pyun, and that is so crazy that they managed to retain the core of their team. So all 4 Spanish players are staying on Koi, or formerly Mad Lions. And that's exactly what they wanted. And I think all the players actually were very good. Some people are saying were calling to remove Merwin, but Merwin was actually pretty good. He actually won some of their games. On the more meta champs, he was not the best, but overall he's been getting better. And I think when you have the 4 players who want to play together, who like playing together, have fun in the game, and you just had one mission, and that is to get a better mid lane, to change the player, I think they completely succeeded. And so I think this one simple move is just going to make them so much stronger. And the fact that they only made one change is not even going to change the strength of the team that much, just going to make them a lot stronger for sure, because there's not that much that can go wrong. And with these type of changes, I just value them very highly, because I think it's just really good, has a lot of upside and almost no downside. And so if you've been paying attention to the video, then you know there's only one team left. And I don't think this comes as a surprise that the best team who won the offseason the most, like a really, really big win, is for sure GiantX. And so this team only kept one player, decided to rebuild completely around him, similar as Team Heretics. However, look at the players they got. Every single player, every single position is a massive upgrade. So first we have Lot coming from the ERLs, replacing D'Antonio, who was already a little bit washed. You know, he was not bad by any means, but I really like to see some rookies coming in and, you know, getting the opportunity to play. Then we have Juhan, I mean, world champion, but was not performing good at all. And we have Closer, who was really, really good in NA. Then he was also really good in KC, and now he's coming to GiantX. So a lot of skill, a lot of experience. Obviously, Jackie staying in the mid lane. And then we're getting Noah and June from Fnatic, the bot lane, who already plays together and hopefully likes playing together. This team just seems so good. And if you would look at how much each team is going to upgrade, this is the team that is going to upgrade the most. Like, I think they are immediately can go from like bottom of the pack to like top of the pack easily with these changes. And I think they even got them for like reasonable price and everything. Given the offseason situation, they were one of the latest teams to complete their roster, and it really worked out for them, which probably cannot be said about like Rogue or something. And so GiantX really, really won this offseason, and I'm really looking forward to them and seeing them in the LEC. So let me know what do you think about this video? What do you think about my offseason rankings? Who won the offseason? Who lost it? You know, if you don't agree with something or you agree with something, let me know all of it in the comments. Other than that, make sure you smash like, subscribe for more videos like this. Stay rock solid, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.